have a remarkable man because he's a fighter. As I have said to you many times, there are many kind people, thank God. There are many honest people, thank God. Many people with integrity, many people with loyalty. However, there is one trait that is very rare, and that is courage. And unfortunately, all the other nice traits are useless without courage. Well, here's a man with courage, William Jacobson. He's a professor of law at Cornell University. Normally, the words professor and courage do not flow from the mouth all that easily, but in his case they do. He's a professor of law at Cornell University, editor and founder of the very widely read and respected blog Legal Insurrection. It should be one of the ones that you go to regularly, as we do. William Jacobson, welcome to the Dennis Prager Show.
Hi, thank you for having me on.
It's a pleasure, sir. I have a lot of questions to ask. The first is, you're in the news, and you're in the news for reasons analogous to why Prager University was in the news last month. Why don't you tell my listeners what's happening?
Sure. Well, we have a YouTube channel, as many websites do, and we publish a lot of our original material there, material we've created, and also what's called fair use material. If we find a news source, we'll take a small excerpt and we'll report about it. But mostly it was our own original stuff there. So Thursday night, I'm minding my own business, looking at my website, and I noticed that a video in one of our posts is all gray, which in YouTube terms means it's not live anymore. So I click on it, and I get a message that the account associated with that video had been terminated for multiple complaints of copyright infringement. It took me about 1 second to realize, wait a second, that's our account. We never received a claim. We would have, evaluated it. Nobody ever told us it was going to happen. So I clicked over to our YouTube account, and it's gone. And there's a message there saying this account has been terminated because of multiple copyright claims. I couldn't even log into it anymore. Completely shut out, account completely gone, and I didn't even know why. And, at YouTube, like at Google and Facebook and other places, there's no human to call up. You just have to try to figure it out. So I spent the next half a day, literally 12, 14 hours, trying to figure out who is it that's asserting copyright claims against us, and why would they do that? And I did eventually get an email from YouTube saying that the claims had been filed by a group called the Modern Language Association. We had reported on an anti-Israel resolution, which did fail, that had just taken place, and we used small snippets of the audio to show what had happened there. And
audio that the Modern Language Association had put up.
They posted it on YouTube. They posted a 2-hour audio.
Right. So you used, I want to just make this clear to my listeners. Legal Insurrection used a tiny fraction of a video put up by the Modern Languages Association. And for that, you were closed down because MLI said you had copyright infringed.
That's right. And not only did we take small excerpts, we used it in our reporting on the event. So it wasn't just taking those excerpts for the sake of taking them. It was part of news reporting, which is one of the things that we do at the website.
Right. So what happened?
That we were taken down because YouTube has a fairly well-known rule that if you get 3 copyright claims against you, they reserve the right to remove your account. Now, all 3 of these came in, apparently, at the same time.
Right.
So we just got shut down. If they had filed one, we would have gotten a notice from YouTube.
So who were all 3 from MLI?
MLA, yes.
MLA, I'm sorry.
Modern Language Association.
Right. By the way, I just want to tell everybody, the Modern Language Association is a group of academics who teach modern languages. And,
right, it's a faculty organization.
It's one of the most left-wing faculty organizations in the country.
And they had, as others have had before them, these resolutions brought by anti-Israel faculty to boycott Israel. And it did fail. It did not pass at the Modern Language Association. But nonetheless, it was very newsworthy all over the place. We had been tracking the history of that effort for a number of years. We had somebody at the annual meeting to report about it, and that person eventually did. And so we were covering this essentially as a news event and a commentary event, and well within what in copyright law is called fair use. And we even dispute that Modern Language Association has a copyright in what its members say at a public meeting. So that's another thing. But we never got a chance to contest any of this. We did, when we finally figured out where this was coming from, we did file what's called a counter notification, and YouTube restored our account. It took another 12 hours or 8 hours, whatever it took. And in that meantime, between Thursday night and Friday night when we were finally restored, fortunately, we were in a position that we have a lot of followers on Twitter, we have a large readership, and we were able to generate media publicity, and I will say, including help and reach out from the PragerU people who have gone through something similar, maybe not exactly the same. And I think because of the fact that we were not a solo person who just happened to have an account and had it removed, we were able to generate that sort of publicity and notoriety about the takedown. And I have to believe that that also helped us.
Is there any way that my listeners can help you right now, or you don't need help right now?
Right now, our account is restored, except for the videos that Modern Language has contested. YouTube's procedure is that where there's a counter notification filed, and we gave them an explanation of why there's no copyright to this material, and why, even if there were, it would be well within fair use for recording and news purposes. Once they received that and evaluated that, they then restored our account. But the 3 videos, they're giving Modern Language up to 2 weeks to go to court to prevent us from using it.
I think the Modern Language Association was just embarrassed by having this up.
Yes, it was.
That's what it's all about.
There's a background here, which is that the one thing the anti-Israel faculty hate more than anything is when you actually quote what they actually said.
Yes. Let me ask you, as a professor of law, is there anything stopping students from recording professors in college?
Well, that's a multi-level question. The first thing is, are you in a state where you are allowed to record somebody without their knowledge? So that's the first issue. So there's multiple levels to this. Some states are what they call dual consent, meaning everybody to the conversation has to consent. Other states are single consent, so that if you're part of the conversation, you can record it. So, and then there are issues about what the university's rules are. Would you be in violation? So I can't really address that in a simple format, and I certainly don't want to advise anybody what they can or can't do. But I think there are groups out there which have pamphlets and have materials on when you're allowed to record on university.
All right, a final question for you, because whenever I meet someone who has defied the left at a university, like you have as a professor of law at Cornell, how are you reacted to by your colleagues?
I would say I'm tolerated. I'm the only openly politically conservative person on a 50-plus member faculty.
Wait, I want everybody to hear that. I want everybody to understand that.
I am the only openly political conservative. There may be other people who we might define.
Yeah, but they're Moranos. They hide their faith. I understand. But you're the only open conservative in the entire law faculty at Cornell. Openly
political conservative.
Right. So how do they react to you?
They have not just tolerated me. I have to pat the administration on the back. For almost since the day I opened my website and started writing, there have been repeated, frequent, and sometimes intensive attempts by outsiders to get me fired. And
well, that's great to hear. Great to hear.
Backed me up.
Well, listen, everyone, Legal Insurrection is one of the important blogs, one of the important websites of our time. Thank you, Professor. I'm going to have you on again. I have a lot more questions. But
Great. I wanted
to air what was happening now. I want to take some of your